Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is the October 2021 US SAT Calc section. Enjoy. Let's get into it. Number 1, the mass of a piece of wood is 10 grams. The volume of the wood is 12.5 cubic centimeters. What is the density? Well, density simply equals mass over volume. So this is going to be 10 over 12.5. The only answer choice that is less than 1, which is what we should get, is A. So A is the answer. Number 2, we need to know the median number of allocated seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. The median is simply this middle line right here in your box and whisker plot. So that's going to be B. Number 3, we have a calf. Oh, offspring of a cow. Look at that. They're teaching us English over here, basically. 62 pounds. It gains 2 pounds every day for the first years of its life. We want to know which of the following functions best models this. It keeps increasing by the same amount. So it's a linear relationship, and it's an increasing linear relationship because it keeps going up. So it's going to be increasing linear. Number 4, which of the following equations which of the following graphs represents the equation in the given system? Honestly, probably the easiest way to do this is to simply put it into a calculator and see which one it matches up with. And when you do that, it's going to be D. Otherwise, algebraically, you can look at the slopes and the y-intercepts and just match the equations to the graphs. Number 5, if 6 times x plus 4 equals 36, what is the value of x plus 4? Well, if we just divide both sides by 6, we're going to get x plus 4 equals 6. So B is the answer. Cool. Number 6, when the heart rate was 85, which is right here, we want to know what was the difference between the actual and the line of best fit. So the actual was 1. According to line of best fit, it should have been 0.5. So 1 minus 0.5 gives us 0.5. A. Number 7, right? That was 6. Yes. Number 7. Okay, we want to know what is true about the means of each data set. To figure this out, just use your calculator and calculate the means of both of them. So mine's actually in my history over here somewhere. So once you calculate the actual means, what you're going to find is that the mean of set X is greater than the mean of set Y. So A would be the answer. To calculate the means, just add them, for set X, just add all the numbers together, divide by 5. For set Y, add all the numbers, divide by 6. Number 8, what is the predicted length 10 minutes after the completion of a cell division? Just plug in 10. F of 10 equals 0.025 times 10 plus 10.3. And that gets us 0.025 times 10 equals plus 10.3. 10.55, which rounds up, of course, to 10.6C. Number 9, what is the best interpretation of the line of the number 0.025 in this context? I mean, it's just a slope, right? It's every time t increases by 1, y has to increase by 0.025. And the one that shows this relationship is, of course, D. Number 10. He saves $5 each day. We have a graph. Which ordered pair represents the possible amount of money he saved after X days? Well, it says he saves up to $5 each day. So basically anything below the line, as a point, would work. For example, 18, 50 is below the line, so 18, 50 could work. But everything else is going to be above the line at those points, right? Like a 12, like the 0.75 is above the line. 8 over 100, 8, 100 is above the line. 4, 125 above the line. So the answer has to be A. Number 11, okay, this should say passes through the point 1, 0. For some, this weird bootlegged test had this weird error with this question, but that should say passes through 1, 0. And line Q is perpendicular, so it passes through this and it's perpendicular. Which of the following points lies on line Q? You could like do this super algebraically and get the exact equation of the line using the negative reciprocal slope. But I mean, you could also, since you know the point where it passes through, you could kind of just draw a line for yourself that forms an exact like 90-degree angle. So, and there, from this, we can see that it passes through the point at 0, negative 1. So 0, negative 1 would be our answer. Again, you could do this algebraically, like using the negative reciprocal slope and getting the equation of the line, plugging the points and plugging the slopes in, but like that's going to be way harder. This is a much easier way to do it. Number 12. Basically, we have an equation. We want to know what is the best interpretation of the value 10 in this context. 10 is basically like where it begins when t equals 0. So, but if you're not sure about that right off the bat, just kind of test out the answer choices. For example, A says it's the initial mass in grams of the radioactive isotope in the substance when t equals 0. Well, plug in 0 for t and see if we get 10 as our answer. And we do. So A will be the answer. Number 13, we have some lines. They intersect the M, which is the following is sufficient to prove that L and M are parallel. W equals Y? No. Because that doesn't tell us anything about X and Z and the other angles relative to each other, so that's not enough. W equals Z. This, however, is enough. Because if these two, if it's going through them and those angles are the same, that means for that to be the case, N and M basically have to be parallel. Otherwise, this isn't possible. So B is the answer. 14, we have these two data sets. Which of the following is the same for both data sets, mean and median? Just calculate them. We see that the median for both is 25 because the middle points are at 25. So it has to be at least be condition 2. So it can't be answer choice A or D. But then just calculate the mean for them. Just put in the points into your calculator: 22, 23, 25, 25, 28, 28 divided by 6. Do the same thing for data set Y. Just calculate the mean of those points. And when you do that, we're going to see that only the median works. So B is the answer. Because you're going to have different means. 15. We have some info. Which of the following is the best estimate of the world population in 480 BC? Well, they basically told us that 49.4 million is 44% of the world population, which would be X. So just solve for X. 49.4 divided by 0.44 equals 112.3 million. So D. Number 16. We have a little graph, and we want to know which of the following is the best interpretation of the y-coordinate of the y-intercept with the line of best fit. Well, that's simply right here, right? This is the y-intercept at 0, 6. The only answer choice that even says like y equals 6 when x equals 0 is basically answer choice C. So C is the answer. Cool. Number 17. What are the coordinates of the point at which the line crosses the x-axis? Well, what's true about where it crosses the x-axis? As we can see from the answer choices, when it crosses the x-axis, y has to be equal to 0. So what we can do is just do 4x plus 3 times 0 equals q. So 4x has to be equal to q. So x equals q over 4. And we know y has to be 0, so B is going to be the answer. Number 18, took 20 minutes for a jet to climb from a starting altitude of 10,000 feet to a final altitude of 30,000. It could climb at a constant rate. What was its altitude in 14 minutes after the climb began? Well, if it went from 10,000 to 30,000 in 20 minutes, that means each minute it went up 1,000 feet. So after 14 minutes, it must have gone up 14,000 feet. If it started at 10,000, went up 14,000 feet, it must have ended up at 24,000 feet. C. Number 19. What is the value of what is the value of B plus C? So when we have two sides of the equation like this, we need to make them look similar. So let's FOIL everything out on the left side. So the left side, let's do the x plus 2 squared part first. That's going to get us, so we're going to get x times x squared plus 4x plus 4. If we distribute that out, that becomes x to the third plus 4x squared plus 4x. And this is equal to the right side, which is x to the third plus bx squared plus cx. Everything on the left side has to be equal to everything on the right side. So that means that like the number of x to the thirds and x squares and x's has to be the same on both sides. So we have 4x squared on the left side. We have to have 4x squared on the right side, which means b must be equal to 4. And if we have 4x on the left side and cx on the right side, the c has to be equal to 4. And then b plus c is going to be 4 plus 4, which is just 8. C. And now number 20. In the given function f, k is a positive constant, which the following could be the graph of f in the xy plane. Well, first things first, x cannot be equal to 1, because that makes it undefined. So we're going to have to, because for a function to exist, the denominator cannot be equal to 0. And if x is equal to, negative 1. If x were to be equal to negative 1, the function, we would be dividing by 0, so it wouldn't exist there. So we have to pick the answer choice where negative 1 does not exist in the function. So that automatically eliminates answer choices B. That eliminates, B, because x negative 1 exists. And that eliminates answer choice D, because there it exists. So we're left to A and C. At this point, to choose between the two of them, I would just graph it. They said k is a constant, so just pick a value for k, like avoid 0 and 1, but pick something like 2. So your equation could look something like f of x equals 2 minus x over 1 plus x. And then just put it into your calculator. It's like 2 minus x divided by 1 plus x, boom, 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 graph. And then you could zoom in on the graph. And if you do that, you're going to see that your graph is going to look a lot like answer choice A. So A would be the answer. And that's probably basically the easiest way to do this question. Just graph it. When you can, graph it. You've got a calculator, right? Cool. Number 21, a circle has center C 1, 1 and radius 2, which I thought can be the equation of the circle. So the equation has to be x minus 1 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 2 squared, which is 4. That is just simply the equation of a circle. If you know the standard equation of a circle, like, you're going to get the right answer. What is the length of side? Sorry for all the coughing. AC. Cool. This is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. We know because it's a right angle, and we have 30 degrees, so this is 60 degrees. In the 30, 60, 90 triangle, we can figure out all of the sides. So we know that this side is going to be, for example, 10, and this is going to be 5 root 3. We're looking for AC, which is the 10 side, so 22 is B. 23. We have this point on this graph, which of the following could define F. Okay. Basically, if they're saying that this is true, A comma B is a point, and then so is A plus 1, and then 1/3 B. Okay, which means that, so if you have A plus 1, that'll be A plus 2, and then 1/3 of the previous B would be 1/9 B. So it's not linear, it's definitely exponential, and as x goes up, y keeps going down. Okay, so it can't be C, and it can't be D, because in those ones, as x goes up, y also goes up. We could, at this point, well, it keeps going down by 1/3 each time. Yeah. So as x keeps going up by 1, y keeps going down by an extra third. The one that shows this relationship is b. Because in b, the 1/3 keeps getting raised to the x power. So if x is 1, you're going to get 1/3. If x is 2, it's going to be 1/9. X is 3, 27. And so on and so forth. Yeah, that one is showing that relationship. Where is the 12 coming? I guess it multiplies each subsequent answer by 12, but if it multiplies each answer by 12, that means the relationship is still the correct relationship. So yeah, so B should work because A messed up where the 1/3 is located. Is the 1/3 that should be raised to the x because the y value keeps decreasing by a third each time. 24. Okay. Okay, well, 24, which of the following represents equations best approximates A in terms of V. A so much is above. Well, only 10% of the whole thing is above if 90% is below, right? So that means A has to be 0.1 V. The ratio of money collected in all 8 states of money collected in the state of Florida was 11-8. So 11-8 has to be equal to x over, let's say f is whatever is in Florida. Which means that 11f equals x 8, or let's rewrite that as 8x. So Florida would have to be 8x over 11. Cool. 26. Which of the following statements must be true? And we're talking about the means and the standard deviations. Well, first of all, the way you determine which one has a bigger standard deviation is you have more of the values further away from the mean. And these are like bell curves. So what it means is you can have more values away from the center. So B, as a result, has a higher standard deviation because you have more numbers deviating from the mean or from the center. So A, for example, can't be true. C can't be true. D can't be true. So should be B. Cool. 27, which of the following is the most appropriate quadratic model for the data shown in the scatter plot? Just plug in one of the points and see which one is closest to it. Let's say we do 3, 2. This means that x has to be bigger than y, so A and B can't work because those are both increasing. And then we could just try out C and D. This would give us y has to be equal to 1/2 times 9, basically, which is 4.5. That looks too big. And this one's going to be y is equal to 1/4 times 9, which is going to be, I mean, roughly 2. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's a little, yeah, roughly 2. So D is the more correct answer. You could plug another point if you're unsure, but yeah, D should work. 28, which of the following functions is the maximum value of m, where m is a positive constant? These are all quadratics. So if m is the biggest value, like the maximum value, your quadratic has to look like this for m to have a maximum, which means you have a sad parabola, and it won't be A, because in that case m is the slope. Same with B, rather than maximum value. Yeah, I think it should be C. Yeah, C, because you're going to have your quadratic, which is negative x over 2. And then after that, you shift it up m to reach its new top point. Yeah, so it should be C. Number 30, the area of this forest is 3 square miles. Okay. What is the area in square yards? So if it's 3 square miles, let's say that this is the forest. And this is 3 square miles. That means each side is going to be, let's say the square root of 3. So 1.73. I don't know. What did I write inside of here? I should have. I wrote it weird. 3. I'll just write, yeah, 3 miles squared. So each of these are 1.73 miles, 1.73 miles. Which means that each side length, 1.73 miles, is, let's see, times 1,760. So 3,048 yards. And then to get that square area, we would square that. So squared, and that gets us 9,292,800 Okay, cool. Multiple choice is done. 27 minutes on the clock. And then let's go to the griddens. Quantity is decreased by 45% of its value, which gives us m, which of the following gives us the original value. Okay, so oh, wait a second. Oh, I just skipped 29 and went to 30. Okay, wait, so I gotta do 29. Okay. So quantity is decreased by 40% of its value. So for example, if we have x and we subtract 0.45x, so we should have 0.55x left. Which of the following gives the original quantity in terms of x? Okay. Wait. A quantity is decreased by 45% of its value. And the resulting value is x. Oh, I see. Okay. So let's say, what this means is, let's say we have 100. And it's decreased by 45%, so it's decreased by 45. And we get 55. And this 55 is x. Which of the following gives the original quantity in terms of x? So in other words, if we get to 55, we want to get to 100 using 55. So we can plug now this 55 into the answer choices and see which one gives us 100. So for example, 55 divided by 0.45 gives us 122. 55 divided by 0.55 gives us 100, so B works. Let's just double check that that's fine. 55 divided by 1.45 is something really small. 55 divided by 1.55 is even smaller, so B would be our answer. Cool. Then we did 30, and now we're in 31. Now we're on the griddens. The ratio of students to teachers in the high school is 18:1. School has 105 teachers. How many students does it have? So 18 over 1 equals x over 105. So x is just 105 times 18. 1890. Cool. 32, B is a constant, there's no solution. What is the value of B? If it has no solution, what that means is you have two equations that are parallel lines. They have the same slope. So that means if they have the same slope, the slope on the left side, or the coefficient of the x on the left side, has to be the same as the coefficient of x on the right side. So B cannot be equal to, so if there's no solution, that means B has to be equal to 2. So that the lines never cross. There's a total of 1,004-digit numbers from 1,000 to 1999. One selected at random. What is the probability that's greater than 1499? We have to figure out how many numbers there are between 1,500 and 1999. And there's 500 of them, right? Because 1999 minus 1499 is 500. So it'll be 500 over 1,000, which equals 1 over 2. Number 34, the solution is xy. What is the value of x plus 2y? You might notice that if you just simply subtract these two equations from each other, and this is a common thing that happens, frequently you don't need to even use substitution or elimination to get x and y. Like, you can frequently just like add or subtract the equations to get what the question is looking for. So to get x plus 2y, we can just subtract these two equations. We're going to get x plus 2y equals 20, which means our answer is 20. Cool. Next, number 35, senior to two solutions, what is the value of c plus d? We're looking for the sum of the solutions to a quadratic. So there's a specific easy formula. The sum of solutions equals negative b over a. So that equals positive 3 over 2. So 3 over 2 is the answer. 36, what is the sum of the solutions to the given equation? Now, it's basically a very similar looking question. But here, we can get to that step. It's basically like 35, but with an extra step, because we got to actually like, do some stuff out. So x plus 2 is going to be, well, actually, we could do this another way. We could just, well, no, well, I'll do it this way. X plus 2 equals x squared minus 3x plus 10, minus 10. So 0 equals x squared minus x minus 2x minus 2 minus 12. So the sum of the solutions is going to be, I think I messed something up though. Hold on. X squared plus 2x minus 5x minus 10. Then minus, here's where I messed up. This should have been minus 4x. There we go. Now the sum, again, is going to be negative b over a. So this is going to be 4 over 1, so this equals 4. I think another way you could have just done this, though, is you could have divided both sides by x plus 2. So then you have 1 equals x minus 5 and solved it. Whatever, but this way works. This way definitely works. So here you go. Enjoy. Number 37 and 38. Okay, almost done. In 2012, the number of registered women voters with P% of the total population was the value of P to the nearest whole number. It's 2012. Well, let's see. So that's just 81 over 122, which equals 66. So 66.66. So that's 66%. So our answer is 66. And last question. If a woman is selected at random from 45 to 64 years old, so that's this group, what is the probability of selecting a registered woman voter? Well, that's just 30 out of 42. Which is 71.4%. So 0.71. Okay. But this one we need to be more careful, because the previous one they wanted the actual percent, not the decimal. This one they want the decimal, not a percent. So our answer is 0.71. Okay, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was informative. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Get out of here. See you guys next time.